Hey guys, Sean Morey joining you with a special guest today. Dustin's not with us because we decided to bring somebody prettier on set with us. Today we're joined by Angela Grayson, who is our local IP lawyer, and she is our thought leader in the space of everything related to intellectual property. Angela, thank you so much for joining me today. So guys, we want to talk about something that we think is really, really important, and I'm talking to you millennials, because I'm a millennial just like you. And we all are smartphone freaks, geeks. We love that. We're always doing live streaming on Facebook now, YouTube, Vimeo, everything out there. And so one thing that's important is you guys are the content creators of today and the future. And so Angela, what I'd love is for you to kind of, pull the hood up a little bit for me and talk to me about, if you're doing kind of small time, if you're starting with videos on Facebook or you're doing a webisode series on YouTube and you're not really a legitimate organization by any stretch, but you have a dream, you have something you want to do. What would you do, or what would you advise for somebody who's just getting started on that as to kind of the proper roadmap to take as to when to do the IP, what type of IP to do, and kind of everything related there. So throw all that at me in 60 or 120 seconds.
I love it, and I love my job. Intellectual property is so much fun because I get to work with creative people who are full of energy and passionate about what they do.
Sure.
It obviously fuels my passion, and we just create a crazy mess together. So I think that's a great question. Now, I know that people don't like the word, but planning is actually a good idea. Because some forms of intellectual property you want to try and protect before you disclose, and some things you want to protect maybe after you disclose.
Okay.
So videos, for example. You will definitely want to think about getting any videos that you produce that you're going to post on Facebook or YouTube or Vimeo. You probably want to get those videos copyrighted.
Before you post?
You can do that after.
Okay.
Trademarks, you can file intent to use applications on various names of your show, for example.
Okay.
Products that you're selling. You can do that before, you can do that after. So you can do an intent to use before, you can actually file your trademark after you've actually used it in commerce after. There are advantages that you'd want to talk to your lawyer about in terms of whether to file an application sooner rather than later.
Okay.
When it comes to products that you're selling, if you've got patentable subject matter, it's definitely a good idea to try and get something filed at the Patent and Trademark Office before you disclose it. In the United States, there's some grace periods, but if you're ever going to sell product outside the United States, you want to preserve that right, and there may not be grace periods in some of the countries that you may want to sell in.
Okay.
So you will want to sit down with your patent attorney or your intellectual property lawyer, talk about what your business idea is, because even if you don't have necessarily a business entity, you're still an innovator. You still have ideas that are phenomenal and could turn into something huge.
Yeah.
So taking 30 minutes to an hour to actually plan what your roadmap is with your IP lawyer so they can give you some advice before you actually launch into that public persona would probably be some good advice.
You said one thing that I just want you to elaborate on for me just a little bit is patentable subject matter. What would you consider, something basics, something kind of at that startup stage, what would be an example of patentable subject matter?
Yeah, so patentable subject matter, that's a great, complicated question. Patentable subject matter has a couple different flavors. Things that are useful, you can potentially file a utility patent for.
Okay.
You could potentially file a design patent on an ornamental design of something that you can make.
Okay.
Or if you're a botanist, you may actually create a new plant and you could potentially get a plant patent.
Yeah.
So all three of those flavors could result in potentially patentable subject matter.
Okay.
And even when it comes to utility patents, there are additional flavors even still.
Okay.
So I think that one of the things that people may find interesting is that when it comes to computer-related inventions, you certainly think of the utility patent maybe as the thing that you think about when it comes to patents. But what about the way that the user interface is laid out?
Okay.
You may actually have patentable subject matter there. You certainly may have something copyrightable and the videos that may accompany that. So there are various layers to innovation, and there are various layers to protecting that IP that's a part of that.
So basically, for everybody out there, like we always say, you don't know what you don't know. And don't pretend to be an expert. Talk to somebody like Angela. And in fact, if you would like to, you'll find Angela's information listed below in the comments section in the description of our video. So please don't hesitate to reach out to Angela. She's got lots of information to give, and she would love to educate you the same way that LendCred would. And Angela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us for another session of the LendCred Credit Geek Q&A.